Good morning. Welcome to our December 7th Intermediate Planning Webinar. My name is Dan Baugh, and I am a Precision Business Planning Specialist here at AgSolver. And today we'll be going over creating a scenario for cash renting a new field in 2017. To run through our agenda today, we'll have our introduction, select a field that we would like to cash rent, select zones and work scenarios representing standard assumptions and associated costs, and then compare ROI on zones and scenarios. And then we'll follow up with any questions anyone might have. So what we're first going to do is add a new field where we're looking to cash rent. So we will click on the green Add Field, name this field Sanders, and click Save. So now we're going to select the CLU boundaries for that specific field. So we'll search for the field, and then it's this. About 78 acres. Select that, and then we get a notification. Have we completed field boundaries? Yes. Select the green Yes button. And then now we're going to wait for the yield data, satellite yield data to be processed for this field. I do not know the exact yield from the recorded yield monitor for this field, but what I do know is the crop rotation on this field from the previous years. This field is in a corn soybean rotation, but when it comes down to specific yield for this field, I wouldn't know. I have a general idea, but we're going to be using the satellite-based yield data to create the scenario off of. And so right now we're just waiting for the satellite yield data to come through. So we already have one notification. So it looks like we have a imagery date from August 15th, 2013, August 15, 2014, and 2015. So for this field, it would actually be going to corn in 2017, so we're going to actually create this scenario based off of 2015 satellite-based yield data, but we're going to model up a potential for our corn crop budget. We'll just call this cash rent scenario. Go ahead and click Save. Now we'll specify our crop budget. And I've already created my 2017 corn crop budget. I will come down and adjust land cost. So cash rent, say we cash rent this field at $225 an acre. Go ahead and click Save. So just like that, we've created a potential planning scenario for this field. So on this 78 acre field, there was an average yield in 2015 of 211 bushels, computed by taking satellite NDVI imagery. And so our projected average profit per acre is going to be just shy of $80 based off of the crop budget that we have in place as of this time. Return on investment was going to be a little over 11.5% return on investment. Production efficiency, 300 bushels per $1,000 spent. Acreage opportunity ratio is going to be 0, along with working capital opportunity a break-even commodity price based off of the yield of 211 bushel and the crop budget that we do have in place. We could actually have $3.25 corn, break even. And then at the very bottom is our total profit on this specific field. So this map is actually at a resolution of 30 meter or 90 feet. We're looking at the profit map here. If we want to look at a yield map for this particular field, there's a waterway that comes in through here. If we want to look at return on investment map, break-even yield increase, so the entire field is profitable. Break-even commodity price, they're right at that $3 or $3.15 mark. Expense decrease, 0. The entire field's profitable. We have our production efficiency, field boundary, and then soils map. But one report that I always like to run when looking at prospect of piece of ground, come to create a report, and I'm going to base this off of the field level. So select our field, Sanders field. What I'm going to do is run a soils report, flood hazard, topography, aerial, land valuation report, and crop data layer report. I'm just trying to gather as much information as possible so I can put together a cash rent price that would make the most sense for this piece of ground. We come in, see, and add another scenario and see what $350 cash rent ground would look like. Call this cash rent. $350. Actually, we will copy a scenario and base it off of cash rent 50 scenario. Click save. Go to edit budget. Come down to land. Type in 350. Click save. Now you can see how this field would perform. If we're paying $350 cash rent, we'd actually lose $45 an acre, have a negative return on investment of 5.6%, and ultimately lose over $3,500 on this particular field. What we can also do is compare different scenarios. So say we want to compare our scenario, whether we pay a cash rent of $225 an acre versus $350. You can see our $350 cash rent scenario, where we're going to potentially lose over $3,500 on this particular field. Or if we pay $225 cash rent, we're going to make just shy of $80 an acre with a total profit of a little over $6,200 on this particular field, with the varying differences in profit maps. Now we can print this page and use it as a comparison for our records. But our report has been completed, so we'll go ahead and download that. So at the top of the report, we have our land valuation. So with the acreage amount, where the field is located, the CSR2, and then we have the AgSolver cash flow rent value. So say we want to do, say, 327 and have a break-even return on investment. And this is basically the commodity prices based off of a 5-year average. So our average commodity price is $5.33 corn. You can see our low, medium, and high cash rent values. If we want to break even, have a positive return on investment of 5% or a positive return on investment of 10%. Or if we were looking to purchase this piece of ground, you can see the low, medium, and high purchase flow value, and then the index-based rent value based off CSR, both on cash rent and purchase price of this farm. Crop history in 2015, the majority of the field was soybeans. Then what's nice is you can see also the county average yields from the previous 4 years on both corn and soybean production. We scroll down, we have a nice aerial image of this field. Soils map of this particular field with the soils data bank. Topography map. Flood hazard map. Here you can see that waterway within the field. So that's the report I like to use when looking at a new parcel of ground. And then honestly, it's just trying to create scenarios, figure out what would be the fair cash rental price. And I also use these numbers for us. We want to target right around that $225 to $250 cash rent to be profitable in 2017 on this particular field. And then once we have the yield data, we can bring that yield data and use that information to help determine even more fair cash rent price based off of the actual yield produced off of that field. So that was a quick webinar on how to look at potential parcels of ground, whether you want to cash rent or possibly purchase a piece of ground. To just come to amortizing the cost out over the life of the note if you're buying this piece of ground, and then dividing by the acreage amount. And then we have our inputs pie chart on this within this scenario. So we'll open up for any questions anyone might have regarding this scenario. And I do want to mention that once this webinar is completed, it will be posted onto our YouTube channel, so you can go back and rewatch this webinar and create this same scenario, but on a potential piece of ground that you're looking at. So if there's no more questions, I want to thank you for viewing our December 7th Intermediate Planning webinar. Thank you.